Tell it what?
I don't know why.
And okay, this is something I found real quick. That I noticed I could just tell off the bat. Just have stuff for you. Can get content to use here. Alright. So as you can tell, you're like track running right here. Look how oh wow, that's it. At this point, yeah, you're running like you're track running. At this point, you've ran. It's just kind of. I guess you got really late about there, so it'd be about 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4, 5, 6. And this one's way too long. If you're gonna have your steps this spread out, you really have to make sure you shorten up your stride, and stay at least shoulder width, a little bit within shoulder width. I'll show it again, right here. So you'll see the one before you lunge. When I say you look like you're running track, that's not how the kickoff should be approached. Right off the bat. Sorry about that. Right off the bat, you shouldn't be at like almost top speeds. I mean, when you're starting right here, you're like, okay, I'm about to take a step, lunge, and hit. But look at your distance. At this point, like this is pretty decent, like decent approach. But you're just a little bit too far deep, because it could either be you have to fix your strides to make those pretty much perfectly if you want to use this kickoff system, or you're gonna have to shorten it. I believe. Moving on to that lunge, we'll go back here, and you'll see this step. Okay, so we're gonna put this much in between the step. Let's see this one. And you gotta have a good positioning. That's a good position. You gotta have a good position. You have to have great positioning to literally make sure you do not lunge. Make sure you do not misplace your steps. Make sure you do not miscalculate them. Make sure you do not misstep. Make sure you do not do anything like that. So, going on. It's too fast. Slow down. This. Okay, so as you can see, this step, as I pointed out, the distance of it, and the next one's going to be a lunge. I'm pretty sure is the lunge one. And we'll check distances. Yeah, it looks like you're really going for it way too much right now. I hope you can even see it now that I pointed out. So Keep going. Your next one. Boom. Like this is your toe out here. On this one, your knee was right here. Your toe was. This is your toe. You could tell. You could tell the messed up. You could even, it looks like you jumped or hopped a little bit more than your other ones. You could tell so easily. Okay, decent step. Ooh. Boom. And you weren't even at. You started at a high pace and slowed down a little bit. Yeah, you need to really recalculate your distance. This does not look bad. It's too slanted, just like I was at the beginning of my career, but it's too slanted. As you can see, you're relying on your plant foot. That thing has to be deep every single time if you're going to be going this far off or taking your body that way, because you're then taking away some of your momentum and power if you were able to direct it completely straight. If you're able to learn to do so. If you'd like to, just I'll get out with that. All right, so we're on the lunge. Okay, lunge. You're at a different pace again. And then you're having to try to speed up right now in this. So if you watch yourself before, just jogging, that jogging, and then that big lunge, and then instantly you have to, you turn on right there. You turn on right there. No. You need to be turning on here because you won't be running from all the way out yonder. Try like try maybe like a 5'6", a 5'7". So going on. Of course, I'm not going to be able to break down everything in this video all in one sec. So you're now hurried. You got yourself in a crazy. You must be really flexible or hypermobile, because look how much you see now. Now you can even see it. It's all about your hips and core placement. You can even see it right here. Look at your, you're approaching the ball right here, man. You think your body should look like you're taking away power, so much of it. You're taking away almost all of this plant foot's torque. True, man. Yeah, and it could be, it's pretty good already. It could be a lot better. So I really hope you see that. Like your knee is almost like coming in. As you can see, your left hip is straight up going that way with your body, because that's where you're leaning towards. Same with your guiding arm. It's down. It's downwards.
No telling why. rather than not.
Special teamers, and now Brown is off to the races. Hurdles, kicks him in, and a flag is thrown.
They're going to get Brown for that hurdle right to the face of Lanning. Tremendous return, but a real mistake by Brown at the end of it. Makes the first guy miss here, then he's going to make 9 other guys miss here. Just number 84, but I don't know number 84, but I don't know number 84, but I don't know why.
One-legged squat. Simply sit back, try to lower yourself to about parallel to the ground, and then bring yourself back up where you're standing. To make the exercise more difficult or challenging, it's a good idea to just hang on to light dumbbells. Assisted one-legged squat, same exercise. You want to sit back in a chair, push yourself back up through your heels. Using your arm, you can hang on to a bar. Simply assist yourself up until you build a leg strength muscle, or you can do it without hanging on to the pole. Kettlebell swing. It's a great exercise for hip explosion. Basically, we want to lower the kettlebell between our legs, keep our hamstrings tight, feel them stretch at the bottom, and then quickly explode up, pop your hips through in the top of the movement, and then make sure your body stays upright, push through the heels into the ground. You don't want to lean back on this exercise, and on the top of the motion, explode with the hips. That's important. Keep your body nice and tall. Push-up, hold, twist is a great exercise to work on the hip strength, oblique strength, core strength, also shoulder stability, just overall having nice tall posture when you're kicking. This will help strengthen a lot of the muscles that are utilized. You can do it simply just like Austin is doing it here without any weights, or to make it more challenging, grab a 10 5-pound dumbbell in your hand, do exactly the same movement. The key is start with your hands about shoulder width apart, feet a little bit wider. As you reach up towards the ceiling, kind of simply rotate your feet as well, keeping the whole body nice and firm. You want to have a straight line between your heels and your head. Single leg, straight leg deadlift is an exercise that works the balance, also works the muscles on the outer edge of your plant leg, which is excellent for kickers. Strengthens you so that your lean is strong. You can swing your foot through nicely. Basically, you're going to lower the dumbbell towards your down leg. You're going to keep the back leg as straight as possible, keeping a straight line between your heel and your head. Basically, just bring the dumbbell down towards your foot that is on the ground. The leg that is down can bend. You want to keep the back leg as straight as possible. Heavier the dumbbell, obviously, the more challenging the exercise. You want to try to get about 10 in a row. If you have to put your foot down between reps, go ahead. Single leg slide squat is a great exercise. Works on a strength of basically quads and glutes and balance at the same time, especially in the outer edge of your plant leg. Simply, you want to slide your foot out and do a one-legged squat on the other leg, bringing a dumbbell pretty much right towards the middle of your body. This is easier done if you were to wear socks and do it on a hardwood floor. It's very smooth. Or to make it more challenging, instead of sliding your leg out, you can just simply hover it right above the ground. Hanging knee raises is a great exercise to strengthen the lower body core. A lot of muscles used in kicking. You want to basically hang from a bar and bring your knees towards your elbows, just like that. If you lack the grip strength to do this exercise, you can use one of those, I guess, hooks where you kind of put your elbows in and kind of do them that way. So this is the correct way, knees all the way to the elbows. The incorrect way is just simply bringing your knees up, which this simply just works in the hip flexors, which are weak muscles. They'll drain pretty quickly, and you won't really get the core exercise that you, or core strengthening that you need. Single leg step-ups, very simple exercise. Here Austin is doing without any dumbbells, but the best way to do this exercise is just simply hanging on to a dumbbell in each hand and just simply keeping your hands along the side of your body. And when you step up, you want to make sure you stay tall, bring your knee up. You don't want to slouch in the waist, and you don't want to crouch forward in your shoulders. Nice and tall, look straight ahead. Great exercise to build explosive power in your quads and your glutes.
Brown thought he had to do that. He had the outside. He could have scored easily if he sticks to his left, but instead tries to hurdle landing and puts his foot right in the face mask.
A cleat to the face of Spencer Lanning right there.
That will definitely, and puts his foot right in the face mask.
Kick is up, kick is good. All right, here we go. Kick is up, kick is good. Left, back up, 25. Kick is good. I love it. Here we go. 3 for 3. Take your time. Take your time. Come now. Kick is up. Kick is good. Back it up. Here we go. Laces. Kick is good.
Hey, let's make a deal. We'll go 60 right. If they think I make it, they go that side. If they think I don't, they go that side.
Oh, so you want to make
So it's double or nothing.
double or nothing?
Yeah. So if they think I'll make it, they go this side. If they think I won't, they go that side. Let's go
You think he's going to make it? Get over here. He's being nice to you is what he's doing. He's giving you a shot.
Babe, team up.
Such a good ball.
Five, 2, 5.
He's nervous now.
Yeah, buddy.
5, 1, 5. 3.
Going down.
Coming down to
I got 505. 4 score.
too tight.
Oh, he's nervous now.
Got it. 5, 1, 0. Here we go. Got it. 5, 1.
Alright. Here we go, brother. Gonna help you see and correct a couple things in this video / episode also as you begin working on. I take a lot of time, of course, with their drills and everything, but some of the stuff is very easy that you could be doing a little bit better, and it could turn you into so much more. So your steps back are too quick, and your 2 steps to the side are, first of all, too quick, not measured right, not strict enough. Too quick. Sorry about that. And when you land with your right foot in place, you also move a little bit. So that is something else that can mess with our making sure we can consistently get to the ball the same every time. So we go on. Okay. So I'm going to take that back and get artists. Your plant foot, first of all, here, isn't quite deep enough. It is not quite deep enough. Deep meaning it being about your heel leveled with the point of the ball that's in your holder. So you are leaning a ton too much to your left here. So when you're leaning like this, it's gonna, of course, cause everything to want to go this way. and then it's going to mess up this way, like this way, yeah. And then it's going to mess up your trajectory because your follow through is pretty much everything. So as you can tell, you're on your left part of your foot. That's the left side of your boot, and it's right before your cleats, but right above that. And you're having your whole foot and all is leaning, and all your pressure and momentum is leaning on that the whole time, which means you're not getting even a stronger plant as you could be, and then stronger plant as in you get more grip with that one. Guess you'll be able to do more with the other one. So we'll go on. As we could see here, when you landed, there,
That one ended up on the 3-yard line. That one on the 7-yard line. See if we can get some height to these balls. Drop it at about 20. Try push it over to the right as well. So about 15. So I'm gonna give the...
you can easily tell that you're rushing your run up, first of all. You're rushing it in the sense of that one must be too short, so it screws up your middle step. And you're hopping and like you're flying towards it like you're gonna kick off. Like that's not what it should look like at all. So that was because of your steps. So you need to get those right. First and foremost, not horrible right here. We want the leg to be more up that way. Not a bad bounce arm. Not a bad bounce.
How are you processing this information right now, brother?
It's just devastating. Obviously, I found out a few minutes after the reports came out, and it's a guy I've known for his entire career, and I've known him pretty well, and we've talked a lot and throughout the years, and knowing what a winner he was, not just on the basketball court but off of it, how inspirational he was, how motivational he was, in terms of really helping to instill in other people, just the tenacity and the focus on being all that you could be, never taking any shortcuts, a willingness to put in the work, to rip yourself and shred yourself of the excuses of the things that hold you back from achieving the things that you aspire to achieve. It wasn't just about basketball with him, it was about life. And that Mamba mentality wasn't something that was reserved for just basketball players or for just athletes. It was for any human being out there who had a dream, who felt the need to be inspired about something, who wanted something so badly. It was about going out and getting it. And he was just that kind of guy. And he laughed a lot more than people realized. He told a lot of jokes more than people realized. He'd sting you whenever he could because that was his way. He was a guy that he was a great basketball player. He was a great father. He loved his wife, and that's obviously tremendously. He was a great friend. We were just together on New Year's Eve, and we were supposed to meet again in a few weeks to discuss some things and to just hear the news that he passed away, particularly in this fashion. He's been taking a helicopter for decades, living in Newport Beach and, flying, toward downtown to LA to the Staples Center, to and from games all the time for many, many years. He loved being in that helicopter. He certainly was never really concerned about it. And for him to be gone, particularly through these means, is incredibly tragic, and it's sad. And to know that his daughter was on a helicopter with him, it just resonated even that much more profoundly. So obviously it's incredibly sad for me, incredibly sad for the NBA community, and it's just hard to put it in words, to be quite honest with you. That's the best I can do.
Stephen A., Kobe Bryant's been a public figure for, more than 2 decades, as you mentioned. I mean, he took Brandy to high school prom, right? I mean, who got to do that? But Kobe Bryant did that. Yeah. Then he comes into the NBA with the bravado of a 10-year veteran, even if he didn't have the skills at that time to match it. But then 5 NBA championships, an MVP, 2 gold medals at the Olympics. We've seen Kobe Bryant for quite some time. And from a fan standpoint, if you will, we feel like we do know who Kobe Bryant is, the relentless competitor, the never give up attitude. You mentioned some of the off-court things, the sense of humor. What is it about Kobe Bryant, Stephen A., that most people, frankly, don't know?
Well, I would tell you that, again, I use the word motivational because I think that a lot of times when people look at him and they take some of the words and some of the things that he spewed, they try to attach it to athletics, but he wasn't about that. He was about life. When I spoke at the University of Alabama for Nick Saban last year, Kobe had spoken prior to that, I think a year earlier than that. Anywhere he could go to inspire people to be the best that they can be, that was something that he wanted to do. He didn't want to just do it through his words, however. He wanted to continue to do it through his own work, to show that basketball was just one element of what he was all about. It certainly didn't limit him in any way. He spoke several languages fluently, obviously Italian, Spanish, and of course English. I mean, this guy was highly intellectual. He was a brilliant mind, and he was not shy about letting you know that he was brilliant because he never believed he was. He was on a mission to constantly elevate himself intellectually. That's just the temperament that he had. But he also wanted to be inspirational in that regard. I remember years ago when I had the show, quite frankly, on ESPN2, and people used to talk about me, interviewing people, and they used to bring up folks like Oprah and others. He used to say, damn all of that, not Oprah, Harpo. That was his mentality. Don't think about just being in front of the camera. Think about owning the product. Think about something bigger than what you're thinking about constantly. It's not just about being a reporter. It's about being an author. It's not just about being a basketball player. It's about being a champion. It's not just about being an artist. It's about being an Academy Award winner. These are all things that he had visions of, and it was consistent with who he was from the time that you knew him. Because coming into the NBA, one of the things that had turned others off about him initially, he came into the league talking about how he was going to be as great, if not greater, than Michael Jordan one day. And people used to look at him and say, this dude is off of his rocker. His chest is sticking out just a little bit too much. He needs perspective. And then sure enough, when you watched him work and you saw the commitment that he put in, you realized he wasn't playing. He was dead serious. He would win championships. He would take a week or two off and then show back up a week or two later and start working in the summertime at 5:30 in the morning. This is what he did religiously. When other people were taking vacations, he was studying. When other people were taking breaks, he was working out. That was his entire mentality about anything and everything. And if you were going to be around him and you talked about aspiring to do something, one of the biggest things he would question you about was the work that you were putting in. He would probe, he would interrogate, because he wanted to make sure that you were doing what you said that you wanted to do, that you were, if you were truly aspiring to go after what you were aspiring to go after, he wanted to judge what you were doing for yourself to see how seriously he could take that you really meant what you said about really going for it. That was his mentality all of the time. And he was that way with teammates. He was that way with executives. He was that way with league officials. He was that way with contemporaries. He certainly was that way with me, along with a bevy of other people that he called friends or called one of his boys or whatever the case may be. That was his mentality. And all of that shaped Black Mamba, the Mamba mentality. You either had to adjust to the program or you didn't want to be around him because he wasn't going to change, because he knew he was right and you were probably wrong if you were against him. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube.
Not a bad bounce arm, not a bad bounce arm. Looking up too fast. Oh, he's losing a lot of his momentum. As you can see, buddy, you gotta stop relying on your plant foot, on your heel on your left side. Because look where all of this weight and momentum is. Watch. It's like it just takes it away, and all of your power is only right here. I'll go slow. So it took his power away. He's leaning way too much left on his left.
No, tell it, wait.
That one ended up on the 3-yard line. That one on the 7-yard line. See if we can get some height to these balls. Drop it at about the 20. Try push it over to the right as well. So about 15. So I'm gonna give this everything now. See if I can really get a hold of her.
Kareem Hunt get popped over the weekend. What's the deal with weed in the NFL? I know he's about to hit restricted free agency. Don't want him to miss a little green in his pockets on both ends, if you know what I mean.
Great question, Mitch. I think there was an open container with vodka in it as well. Then there was some marijuana found throughout the vehicle. Ohio has medicinal, I think, right?
A lot of painkillers, too.
And painkillers, yeah. I don't know. I think the issue the NFL has with marijuana is the fact that it's not federally legalized, right? So the NFL always wanted to put on for the fact that they drug test their players because they don't want to have criminals or thugs in their eyes in the league, right? So we all got drug tested annually for street drugs, where they tested for marijuana and other street drugs. I don't even know what the hell else would be considered a street drug in their eyes. But that was an annual test. And I always thought that the NFL literally only tested for that so they could tell the rest of society, look, we drug test our guys for weed. We understand it's a federal crime. We don't promote that in our league. That's not what we want. I honestly believe that was the only reason for what it was for. It was a CYA, cover your ass type situation by the NFL to do it. Now that the legalization of marijuana is starting to pop up in a lot of different states, and although it's not federally, it has been state legalized in a lot of places. I think the NFL, and especially with this new CBA, which is nowhere near being finished, by the way. There was reports a couple months ago that things are going well, they're trending in the right direction, might be able to get a deal done, but that's going to be had in the CBA, and maybe there'll be an asterisk, like if it is federally legalized, then we will stop testing for it because there's no reason to test for it if it is federally legalized. But I think it's all about the NFL just trying to cover their ass and trying to let everybody else know that, yes, we are the biggest and best league in the world, and we do care about the things that we should care about. And we don't want you thinking that our people and our players are just out there going willy-nilly doing whatever. This Kareem Hunt situation is a very sad one. Well, hello there. Utilize the promo code Pay the Bills and get $20 off your first order from iKick. Now, back to the magic. Very sad one. I've never seen anything like that, by the way. If you watch the video back, TMZ reported the video. He sped and then just pulled over. There was never it was almost like the cop who was listening to Kings of Leon, by the way. He was... I found that very interesting. That was the first time I ever heard an entire Cops music soundtrack. He was listening to Kings. Sex is on fire. The whole thing. Kareem Hunt just pulled over. Like, there was no chase. There was no get out behind him and tell him he's getting pulled over. He just pulled over. The cop stays on the thing. Then the entire thing unfolds, and there's marijuana, there's painkillers, there's an open vodka thing. It's basically just a complete recipe for disaster in the PR world, and especially after coming off of what he came off of, it's going to be tough for a team to want to sign him, to be honest with you. And I think it's sad. It's a sad situation, the Kareem Hunt situation.
Yeah, for someone who's on that thin of ice, just keep it at your house.
Just stay home.
Just keep it at your house.
This is what I was saying about Johnny Manziel. Just party at home, dude. Just party at home. I understand that might not be as much fun as going to clubs and bottle popping and money telephoning and all this. It might not be. Just party at home. Just have the people you want. Just stay home. That's the world you live in. And if you really want it, if you're really committed to it, you'll choose to do that. I'm very sad for Kareem Hunt because this is probably nothing. He never thought in a million years that this could potentially get him in trouble. He might have been running to a friend's house or something like that and had no idea that he had all this stuff in his car littered throughout the whole thing. But it's just a sad situation. I don't think anybody's going to be able to sign him. I don't think anybody's going to be able to sign him.
When we hit the stage together, it's honestly nothing but fun. And it's the moments where we bring our live show to our fans in cities like Los Angeles, where it's truly sweet. Listen on Spotify for a playlist.
Sorry, I don't mean to scream. I just feel like no one really took me in his head to see. Someday I'm a girl, bitch, so one of you is meant to be. Yeah. Anybody want to hear me rap? No. Come on, let me play a couple tracks. No. Come on, I can spit it really fast. No. You think I should throw this in the trash? No. Twitch ya, haters go away before I hit ya. I am not a beggar or a kisser. You don't understand, well, I forgive ya. I am not...
Monday, January 27th, 2020. And yesterday, for the first time in my life, I cried real tears for the passing of a human that I've never met before. You know how people say, I feel like I'm having a bad dream. I never knew what that meant. I'd experienced bad things before, but never once in my life did I think, this can't be real. Kobe's passing yesterday felt like it wasn't real. This man who has been not only a basketball legend and a basketball GOAT, but this man was an icon. Tragically passed away out of the middle of nowhere alongside his daughter at the age of 41. She was at the age of 13, and obviously way too soon for all involved. I never met Kobe. I was never lucky enough to get to hear him speak or see him motivate folks or dap them up. I just watched him from afar like the rest of the world. When I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we didn't have an NBA team. And ever since I was a kid, I always struggled falling asleep at night, so my mom and dad got me a TV to put in my room so I would stop, annoying them. I became a Laker fan because I fell asleep on most nights alongside them, dealing L's to the rest of the NBA. Kobe was a staple of my childhood. I was 9 years old when he got drafted to the Lakers. He was an inspiration of my competitiveness, a trailblazer of a focus on dominance that I hope to one day acquire. His stats on the court are obviously outlandish. 18-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA, 5-time champ, multiple All-Defense team, NBA MVP, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, a GOAT through and through while doing it and being the face of the City of Angels since the age of 18. Drafted when he was 17. When he retired, he said he was at peace. He had accomplished everything he wanted to accomplish in the sport. For 20 years, he gave his soul to the game. He actually dropped 60 in his swan song, showing that he didn't have to retire. He wanted to. He wanted to change his focus. I appreciated that. I loved that. I couldn't wait to watch this man whose Mamba mentality was envied by the other greats in folklore amongst legends. Turn that Mamba focus to other things. I was excited to see what great things he would bring to our world and our society. One of the world's greatest minds and mindsets. Of course, he'd go on to win an Academy Award just momentarily after. He created content. He gave speeches to folks in an attempt to make them better. He invested in businesses, started his own businesses. But what I think we all loved most was watching him turn his focus and watching clips of his family going to Laker games. The videos of him and his daughters behind the scenes. The glimpses of Kobe enjoying the chapter of his life where he no longer needed to be a competitive robot anymore. He no longer needed to be a savage. The fulfillment he so obviously had in being a super dad is what I enjoyed most about his retirement. Then, out of nowhere, this icon, alongside his pride and joy, gone. First the TMZ report, then some conflicting reports, then ultimately an entire world had an understanding that a legendary life was lost in an unthinkable accident. It's moments like these that reset the natural human negative instinct. It's moments like these when life gets put into perspective. It's moments like these where we all realize that the petty stuff in our life that we allowed to sway our moods, direct our thoughts, or alter our decisions are all literally absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of life. It's moments like these that remind us all that this all can end at any given moment. Doesn't matter how many buckets you've made, how many championships you've won, how many lives you've impacted. It can all end at any time. Jay Williams spoke yesterday on ESPN. Now, he broke an FCC violation, but what he said was it's time to let some stuff go. And I couldn't agree more with him. So I thank Kobe for what he taught me about commitment to greatness and love of sport and passionate parenting while he was here on this earth. And in his passing, I appreciate him reteaching me that this life is special and very, very, very fragile. Our essence is not infinite. Let's make our todays better than our yesterdays because we truly have no idea if tomorrow will ever come. Rest in peace to the GOAT, his daughter Gianna, and the 7 others that were tragically passed away yesterday. But please recognize that the legend of Kobe will never, ever, ever die. It was a tough one yesterday, I think, for everybody. And to be honest, I heard Stephen A. Smith say this morning. Now, he was friends with him and a lot of people on TV. I didn't want to do a show today. I did not want to speak to humans today. I did not want to. Yesterday, I was with my lady. I was at a celebration of life for one of her best friends that passed away. Whenever the news broke about this, And it was just one of those things where perspective gets placed quickly. In moments like these, and tears fell from my face. And then I remembered that it is our job, since we have this platform, to celebrate the hell out of the life that was Kobe. So that's what we'll do today.
Save $900 a year on bottled water.
We bring customers and companies together. Today's customers expect a lot more from companies, whether it's as simple as a survey.
Yesterday, the world was rattled with the news that Kobe Bryant passed away. This transcended sports, but the sports world, I hadn't experienced anything like this in my lifetime. I've never experienced anything like this. This is something where you heard from everybody, came out of the woodwork about pretty similar things to what I said there in the first 8 minutes of the show. It's like even watching from afar without knowing him, he inspired probably every professional athlete that you see today. His mentality, the Mamba mentality that everybody knows about and hears about, was something that was envied and aspired to be like by almost every athlete that you see out there. Watching him just flip a switch into becoming this absolute savage was something that everybody wished they could do. And obviously, the world reacted to Kobe Bryant passing yesterday. Greg Popovich, Hall of Fame coach for the San Antonio Spurs, who had to run into Kobe Bryant on a very regular basis, had this to say after their loss just yesterday.
Good game, tough loss, who cares? Most importantly, appreciate you all letting the locker room be tonight. Everybody's pretty emotional about the tragedy with Kobe, and all of us know what a great player he was, but he went beyond great playing. He was a competitor that goes unmatched, and it's what made him as a player so attractive to everybody, that focus, that competitiveness, that will to win. And even more importantly than that, we all feel a deep sense of loss for what he meant to all of us in so many ways, and so many millions of people loved him for so many different reasons. It's just a tragic thing that there are no words that can describe how everybody feels about it. So we all think about the family and the process that they're going to be going through now. That's where all our thoughts should be.
Yesterday, there were obviously shots of the Spurs and the
Raptor?
No, I forget who it was.
Yeah, it was.
Raptors. They did the 24-second tribute at the beginning, which is beautiful. There were shots of Tim Duncan crying on the sideline there, on the bench there. I mean, the San Antonio Spurs, Greg Popovich, and Kobe Bryant obviously have a storied history. But just like that, in moments like this, it doesn't matter if you're rivals, competitors. Whenever you see somebody pass like this, it is such it's a catastrophic event in the sports world. Doc Rivers, head coach of the LA Clippers, the other team in LA, had this to say.
I haven't. Listen. I just don't have a lot in the opponent. He's
really tired that it's not a video game, right? It's not a video game. Not every day the rating that you are on Madden is how you're going to show up at practice. Not every day your rating that you are on NBA 2K is how you're going to show up on the court for a game. There's humans out there, and that's the biggest difference. And that's fans view athletes as this one thing because that's what they are, superhumans, the ability to do things that most of the fans could only dream of doing. They're supposed to portray themselves in a certain image, and then as soon as something like this happens, we all learn that we all grieve. We all have feelings. We all have emotions. We all poop the same. We're all humans in this thing. And I think that is the biggest takeaway from something like this. Aside from me crying real tears about the passing of a human I'd never met before, which has never happened before, ever. That has never happened for me ever. To be honest, Couldn't tell you the last time I cried. And my lady says it's because I didn't watch any Disney movies growing up, so I don't have any feelings or whatever. But it's honestly just because I think the way I compartmentalize things are different than what other people do. I think I choose to look for the positive in every situation. I try my absolute best to look for the positive in every single situation, just because I feel like it's a better way to go about things. But yesterday, whenever that news was first reported, then conflicting reports came out that his entire family was with him, and then all this other stuff was said. I mean, it was a punch directly into my gut. I mean, it was a punch directly into my gut. And then whenever you see Doc Rivers and Popovich and Jay Williams and Jalen Rose and these people on television who look to be just these stone cold individuals have the same exact feelings as me, it was almost a moment of like, damn, this guy did it with his life. This guy reached people. This guy lived in a manner that taught people that he had never met before how to be better at what they do. Now, granted, I'm not 100% sure how the regular world feels that doesn't love sports. I assume that the whole entire city of Los Angeles is in a massive state of mourning right now because he was the face of Los Angeles for a long time. But anybody that's in sports, if you saw the way this dude worked and prepared and then the father he became after, maybe he was this type of father the entire time, but the father we got to witness after he retired, it was just heartbreaking to know that this guy had a lot more in store for the world than what he just did on the court. This guy who had this mentality that made him the most dominant player in a sport that dominant players play in was going to go on and focus on other things in life and make the world a better place, make our society a better place. He was going to raise his kids in beautiful fashion. Gianna was probably going to be the next superstar of women's basketball. She was already shoulder shrugging and shoving off on Kobe Bryant. She was already going one-on-one with the guy who nobody wanted to go one-on-one with her entire life. Now, Vanessa, his wife, has 3 other children that have to mourn with this. And our T's and P's obviously are sent out to her, and also the other 7 passengers that passed away. The baseball coach and his family, the pilot, the other mom, the other daughters, the people that were on that helicopter, our T's and P's are with them. But whenever you see this reaction from the sports world and from these humans, this doesn't happen on a very regular occasion. This man was an icon.
you can usually tell that you're rushing your run up, first of all. You're rushing it in the sense of that one must be too short, so it screws up your middle step. And you're hopping and like you're flying towards it like you're gonna kick off. Like that's not what it should look like at all. So that was because of your steps. So you need to get those right. First and foremost, not horrible right here. We want the leg to be more tip it up that way. Not a bad bounce arm. Not a bad bounce arm. Looking up too fast. Oh, this is a lot of this is momentum. As you can see, buddy, you got to stop relying on your plant foot on your heel on your left side, because look where all of this weight and momentum is. Watch. It's like it just takes it away, and all of your power is only right here. I'll go slow. So it took his power away. He's leaning way too much left on his left. On his left plant foot, smashing the end of it too badly. I should be a little bit more down at this point. Okay, so he made his contact, but he did wrap, which that means that his toe did get around the ball. Which I would blame to steps also. So as you can see, as you hit, all your momentum's flying this way. You're trying to hit something this. So you see, if you push, when you're able to find your right steps and find a way to that actually pushes you forward.
Go 6 for 6. Y'all got 40 push-ups. We're gonna get stronger. Okay? He goes 5 for 6. Nobody's doing anything. He goes 4 for 6.
We'll do.
He goes 4 for 6. He's got 50 push-ups. All right. So here we go, Will. Kick is up. Kick is good. All right. Here we go. Kick is up. Kick is good. Left. Back up. 25.
Watch out for the Rams.
Kick is up. Kick is good. I love it. Here we go. 3 for 3. Take your time. Take your time. Kick is up. Kick is good. Back it up. Here we go. Laces. Kick is good.
Hey, let's make a deal. We'll go 60 right. If they think I make it, they go that side. If they think I don't, they go that side.
Oh, so you want to make
So it's double or nothing.
Double or nothing?
Yeah. So if they think I'll make it, they go this side. Let's go. Just 60.
You think he's gonna make it? Get over here. He's being nice to you. Is what he's doing. He's giving you a shot. Nice job. Give him some. Nice job. Where's Morris at?
Hey, babe, team up. Such a good ball.
Gone.
He's nervous now.
Yeah, buddy. 5-1-5.
Going down.
I got 505.
Too tight.
Oh, he's nervous now.
That's all right.